This is the August 30th meeting of the Groveland Recreation Committee. We are being audio and video taped. That's all I had to cover, right, Charlie?
Okay.
Okay, first up is minutes, Elise.
Yes, we do. From 2 meetings ago, we didn't actually reach quorum last meeting, so I'm going to pass these out again. This is actually from April. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, because we, this is the last one that we had that we have minutes for. May 24th, I know we had a meeting, but I don't think I was in attendance on that one, so.
That's right, you and I.
Hopefully we can grab some minutes for that one.
We're pretty bad without you.
And then after that, we met June 13th with the selectmen. So, and then it was July 26th, which we didn't have quorum. And then here we are in August.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept minutes.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. On to Groveland Day,
Okay.
where Elise knows the most.
So, we received a couple more sponsor checks.
Did we get Chesterton's?
Yes, that is here. I have Institution for Savings and Amergy, which is another vendor. So I'll hand those over to you. And these were in the mailbox as well. So and then I also did a dump of the account. So we had 1,619 transferred from the PayPal account.
Okay.
That included about 1,140 for softball, 1,140, and then 13 vendor booths at 25 apiece. So that was 325. We had another sponsor come in for 250 on that one, and then I made a payment out of that to Risco for the wristbands, which worked
Okay.
out really well.
Good.
I'm hoping to do that for the bib numbers as well, but then after I dumped all the money in today, I'm like, oh, that leaves you with nothing. So what am I gonna do? So that pretty much covers up, most of the booths. I mean, we're gonna have a couple of checks trickle in, but everyone pretty much is doing it online. And the amount of nonprofits that we have this year, so it's about 50-50. So if we have 26 booths, 13 of them are paying, and the rest are nonprofit. So
Okay.
we're filling up a lot of the space with those. We met actually down the Pines to just scope out the new field area and start coming up with a layout for how we're going to run the booths and everything. And
Okay, are we looking at the same area, Elise?
no, we are not.
Okay.
We are not. And I have sort of a crude little map. If you can picture over this area, here's the pavilion pretty much, and then the bathroom, I forget how they line up. And then there's that parking lot.
Sidewalk there.
Yeah, and then so like football, you guys take up pretty much all of this other field.
Yeah.
This is like all your practice
Yep.
field, and then the softball field's over sort of on this area.
So the new softball field's going there.
Okay, so then parking lot kind of goes all the way back and has this little jog thing. So
Yep.
maybe softball's kind of over in this area. So what we were thinking was we're going to do right at that corner. There's a little bit of a hill, so right at the top of this, it's flat, and then I think the hill kind of comes, down around this area. So we're going to do soccer and rec right at the very top. And right now, as it stands, this is all kind of like gravel area. It's like a pathway in front of the parking lot.
Right.
So then as soon as it flattens out, we're gonna start our rows of booths.
Okay.
And we're probably gonna run 4 and then maybe have a walkway in the middle of these as well, and then do another 4.
Okay.
So
So you're
there'll be a
gonna put the
walkway.
booths up
So the rides are gonna be at the street.
And then, well, this is that weird
Up our
like
field.
fallout
Yeah.
area that we have to fence
The
off.
drainage.
The drainage. And so we're gonna put the rides right in front of that. That's gonna kind of take up all this.
Oh, so this is like the lower field
That's
where
the
it
softball,
starts.
so the softball test
Yeah,
would be.
yeah.
Okay, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. All right.
And this goes all the way to
Because we
the-
got like a shed, there's a little shed back of that corner, have you seen?
No, you're thinking of over in this corner.
This
Oh, so
is-
you're all the way up by the street still?
Yeah, there's the bathrooms right here, and there's that little side parking
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah.
This is the
So-
other utility field,
Yeah,
like
upper
on the
field.
street. So the driveway comes in
Right
this
here,
way.
yeah.
Okay, now I get it.
So.
Okay. No, because I was just thinking, because I was like, just saying like, right down the way it's set up, there's the drainage thing.
Yeah.
We have a little shed. Our Conex boxes are there. There's
Oh, you guys
actually
have
a
a
shed
shed over
now.
there, too?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because the D team's all the way up here, so
Oh,
that
okay.
we have an equipment shed
And
there,
you have
which we have
two-
plenty of room in too, if we
Yeah.
need to store stuff.
Okay. And then also you have the 2 down
Conex
there.
boxes
Okay.
are way down the other end.
Okay.
But now we're not using those fields that day either, at all. Like we got an email from the town saying that it was being used for all the fields were.
Okay,
Yes,
so-
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
I guess what I'm saying is we have access to any of the field really.
yeah, and I don't think we're gonna end up, like, we have other events that are going on. I think we're doing the firefighters challenge and
Over
some of
that
that
way.
stuff
Okay.
sort of towards the end. So this is as far over as we need to go, depending
Okay.
on how many we have. And we actually measured it off, so there's only 90 feet between here and then how much the ride needs, like 120 or
So
something like
fit,
that.
yeah.
So we only have so far to go, so that means 4 a walkway and then 4 booths if you're doing 10 by 10.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we figured that. And then so we may, if our spillover is gonna go this way.
Okay.
Okay, now where are the Boy Scouts going?
Well, that's the other thing we have to figure out. So we have the Boy Scouts, we have the arts people that have, you know, the speaker and all that stuff, which I was kind of thinking maybe would go nicely here, sort of, you know, broadcasting out to everybody.
Because it's slightly higher.
Yep, and then we have to kind of figure out where we're gonna do food. I mean, I don't have a grasp on what the right combination is. If we've always thought about doing a food area and then vendor, you know,
Right.
area. But
Could you slide some of these over and put food in the middle like you do, like they do at malls, you know, they kind of stick it in the middle of all the other activities?
that's a thought. It's a really good thought. The trouble is the Boy Scouts have that big trailer,
Right.
and I just need to think through how
Yeah,
that
they
would
take
work.
up a lot of space.
They do. They kind of need an end, you know, and then we need an end for the cakewalk, and we need, you know, so there are certain ones that we have to probably plan out first, and then everyone else goes around them.
Don't you usually do food around the pavilion though?
There's just not enough room, in the way it is there's no space in there now because they put that parking lot and then
Yeah.
the playground,
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah,
there's
changed it.
literally no room around there. Just,
And we do not, the bathrooms will not be ready.
They won't.
The bathrooms will not be ready.
Okay.
So
So-
it's back to Porta Johns.
which, do they have,
There's a couple down there. That's
yeah, I was
already-
gonna say,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to, Steve will figure that out, but we'll have to have, you know, some in a couple different locations.
Well, probably best to put them up near where the bathrooms are, right, 'cause it's paved right there and they'll stay on stable ground.
If there's room, yeah.
We could put them in that side parking lot.
Yeah.
Just put them in the bathrooms.
Yeah, might as well. Yes, the bathrooms are
One of the
open.
funny things was, there was something over the radio saying anyone attending the Buffett concert, there's a special warning out, please do not bring homemade toilets. I thought it was the funniest thing.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. People who show them like buckets and everything, yeah.
Yeah,
Elise and I were at the Buffett concert.
yeah, we
Really?
ran into each other walking
Yep.
in.
No way. Did you
Yeah,
really?
it was really
That's
funny.
pretty funny.
Um,
Yes, in fact, on the way over, I said, it's amazing that we never see anybody we know here.
Yeah, I know.
And they should.
I heard Gronk showed up, and he was over in the bus parking
Yeah?
for like 2 hours in the morning, and then he left. 'Cause he
Oh,
was going to some other concert. He just wanted a
Just
couple
be there.
hours.
Yeah, exactly.
That was fun though. Okay, so I emailed you all the download info and the
Okay.
PayPal transaction, so you'll have that waiting for you. We have, so I just need to gather my volunteers for that morning too, and we have to decide sort of where we're gonna have booth check-in, because obviously people are gonna be able to come on in and park anywhere, but they're gonna be traipsing across the parking lot with all sorts of stuff. Are they gonna wanna like, you know, back up and dump, you know, right from the parking lot? So I gotta figure out a flow to that, and where we're gonna have people kind of check in. So my thought was, this lower parking lot, maybe we'll close it off, to just vendor unload. And then once they're done, they need to remove their car from that spot to allow people to actually come back in and park. Because otherwise, you have vendors taking up all the spaces, and they're not doing anything. You know,
Right.
they're
They're not
setting up
moving,
and they're there
So
till
just
4.
unload and then they gotta move.
Yeah. So
yeah, we probably want them to move up to town hall lot.
yeah, so that my thought was, you know, how do we kind of block that off?
Like a cones, orange
You know,
cones.
people will run them over. I hate to say it.
They're football
We
ones
don't, I don't
anyways.
think we have Curious Creatures, or I'm not sure who we have in terms of those types of people that would definitely need to drive their
And
stuff.
keep it there, yeah.
Like TD Bank wants to drive their van. I'm sure, I don't think the Cupcake Lady's coming back with her van, but I know that Boy Scouts will want to drive. So I just need to kind of figure out how we're gonna channel that while this all goes on. I
Well,
thought about
you want
having
everybody
this as
getting
a,
there early though, so that
oh yeah,
they're all
they have
loaded
to
by
be
10.
set up by 9:30,
Yeah, yeah.
9:45 and out of there.
Yes.
So last call, like, to have any kind of car in here is 9:45 the latest, and then they're out. But that was my other thought, was do I make this some sort of like driveway type of area, like just a big throughway, so you can get the cars in and out of there. I don't think it's, anyway I worked it out, I'm going, I just can imagine bottlenecks and it's craziness.
And we
So,
get one that's just, you can't find to move,
yeah.
which happens every single
Yeah.
time. We get one that we can't find.
So they don't stay in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So we'll need one person to monitor the check-in, and then one person to be available to run people to their booths or just help, you know, there's always somebody running around. So I think if I have one other person there,
I think maybe we need to actually go on TV and ask for volunteers, because we're gonna be short, especially with the road race going on.
well, that was my other point, was road race day, that table has all of those activities with taking registrations, getting Spitler all organized, and then turning around and handing them a check at the end too. So we're gonna kind of need one of us there.
I can throw an email out to all the parents in my league, because I'm gonna send one out just for help on our booth. But, I mean, I've got 271
We'll
emails
take any
between
volunteer.
cheerleaders or whatever, so
Yeah.
I could just send out a blanket email.
I think with those,
To
you
the
also
league.
need to be a little bit more specific what you're gonna have them do,
Yeah.
so that they know. I need
Times.
someone for a 2-hour period,
Yeah.
sign up for
Block out times, yeah.
9 to 11, 11 to 1,
Yeah.
1 to 4,
Yeah.
something like that. And the choices would either be work the rec booth,
Mhm.
help with the vendor setup in the morning, you know, kind of like a traffic.
Give us some
Operator.
times, maybe like an early morning.
That's a,
8 to 10 or something, just
well,
to,
I told people they can start coming at 7. If
Okay.
they need it earlier, they need to contact me, but 7 o'clock, we'll have that blocked off if that's how we're gonna do it, and then,
okay.
Somebody just to, because the parking is awful, somebody just to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
them out of there.
yeah, yeah, so,
Because they pretty much ignore Elise and I.
yeah. I'm thinking of
I might
going
be
there
able to take
before
on the
this
roll
year.
myself if I'm down. I can be loud enough.
I am gonna be in and out that day because I have Apple Festival for work.
Oh goodness, The other thing I thought might be helpful is maybe to just grab like a half a dozen t-shirts, like bright orange,
Mhm.
say Groveland Rec Crew or something like that, that all of us can wear, easily identifiable, and people won't just run us over when they go by us in the parking lot.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. So I can have to get out to put that in. Alright, so I know everyone's sizes, I can pretty much garner that. What else do I have? Yeah, the race is pretty much good to go. I mean, they had very, very low numbers on the active site, which I think, they kind of expect. We get a lot of same-day sign-ups, so hopefully that'll fill in that way.
Yeah.
Get a lot
Some
of-
people
a
wait
lot
till
of
the
young
weather's
kids.
gonna be.
Yeah, yep. Which, I mean, it's fine. That was the other question I had. So I forget what we did. I think we did a $5 upcharge for
Late registration.
late registrations.
For the race.
Yeah.
So it says on the website, yeah, it's
Is
$30 day out,
Okay, so
25.
he did put it in
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
okay, alright, so we'll stick with that and, we'll just have to get volunteers for that too, but I don't know, who do we send out of our group?
Aaron?
I mean, Brian Giard knows what's going on.
Okay.
I'll have to reach out to him and see if he can be the point person for just that
Yeah.
one or two tasks. I think if I met with whoever it was and showed them the couple of forms, and I'll have the spreadsheet and everything's check off and this and that, so it's pretty easy. But and maybe I'll just reach out to Karen from Spitler and ask her if we can do a check,
Mhm.
within the week after.
Well, even if she comes down the Pines, we won't know the numbers. That's the trouble with Spitler. We don't know the number in advance.
No, she could have it with her when she prints it out.
Right, but
We
that's
don't
what I
know.
mean, because if I'm in and out,
Yeah. Alright.
though I could leave you a check.
I'll reach out to her and see,
Because last year we paid her afterwards.
we had enough cash from the walk-ins.
No, I sent her a check, I think, last year.
Or was that 2 years ago? Maybe that was 2 years ago.
Maybe.
Okay. Alright, I'll reach out to her on that. The other issue that came up was we have to sort of decide, with the nighttime getting a little bit more exposure, a lot of the vendors are taking interest in it and they want to participate in it. So there's one specific gentleman who's a balloon vendor, kids' toys and whatnot, had expressed interest and wanted to know if he could do the nighttime.
Let's charge him again.
Well, that was my thought was, have them go on and just re-register
Yep.
for a second vendor
Yep.
booth or what have you. But do we open up the door and have people be upset that wasn't advertised? Because there have been other people that have asked too.
Yeah. Well, we could send
Specifically
out-
with the food. The food is going to be a difficult area. If we're always going to tag one or two rec groups to be the beneficiary of it, then that's fine. But we're excluding other food groups where we're also including other vendors,
Right.
and it gets a little hairy. So we'll have to think about that. But
I don't
in
know,
terms of
unless
the
we
gentleman-
send out an email that, if you'd like to participate at night to the vendors.
Yeah,
then-
you could do that, right?
9 out of 10 vendors are not
They're
going
not
to
gonna
want
want
to. You
to.
don't show your scarves,
Right.
Yeah.
at 10 o'clock at
Right.
night. But
But maybe if just a blanket email to them that,
That way
this
it's-
is an option, and then they know.
yep.
Because your place in ours wants to come in, right?
Yes. Yep. And that's another
I
one.
would say that's probably what you get, is
They're-
primarily food.
But they're also they're running a couple of food contests too, so they sort of are helping on one end, and
Sure.
we're letting them stay for the nighttime stuff. So that's another tricky one where I have to figure out where
Right.
they're going to stay so that you know, I haven't talked to Steve about how the nighttime's gonna fall, with all this stuff, so,
Right, because actually the softball field worked good because we were fenced in
yeah.
and it was a large enough area,
Mhm.
because we have to be fenced in because of the
Yeah.
drinking.
And now that's the same this year, they've.
Don't know.
Yeah, right, we'll have to reach out to Steve and see.
Yeah, but I mean, that did make sense that we were in there.
Yeah, it does.
So,
We should make
we'll just
sure-
have to
So
let
it's a
those-
controlled area.
Right.
we'll have to let those vendors know so that they can plan on moving.
Right.
If that's the case. Alright, so I'll reach out to Steve and see what his plan was for the nighttime transition and where things can go, for that, so. It may not even matter where I put your place in ours, cause they're gonna have to move across the street, so. Alright, we can figure that out. So we're all in favor for letting that gentleman do the nighttime
Yeah, I think that works fine.
balloon stuff? Okay,
The
I'll,
idea of it's double
I'll
check,
tell him
yeah.
to apply as another vendor. Yeah, I mean, I was looking through the list, there's really
There'd
just
be
a lot
very
of
few
arts
that
and
would want
crafts
to
and,
do it,
yeah, I mean, a lot of the fundraiser people bring food of sorts, so, and we're shut off with food vendors for the nighttime, so I don't know that I wanna put that out there yet.
Maybe we make, in the future, maybe we make the food vendors at night a lottery.
Yeah.
You know, that, yeah,
That's a good idea.
so that, you know, if
Boston
some
Charter gets
chance-
how many lottery tickets then?
Stuff the ballot box.
We're on TV, folks.
Well, it depends if we become an entity that fundraises, then there's no need for a lottery.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have, you
Yeah,
know-
these prices won't be the same.
No, they won't. Okay,
Have you picked a date for all of this?
September
It's like-
17th,
What is it?
September 17th, Saturday.
It's Groveland Day and the road race.
Is that the same road race they do at Strawberry Fields?
They went out of that area last year.
Okay.
Maybe a new route this year.
Chesterton is the road race sponsor this year, and they just underwent a huge expansion there. So last year they couldn't hold it there because of the construction that was going on, but this year they're our major sponsor again, so they're running the race through, in and out of their parking lot. So it starts and ends at Chesterton. So. All right.
Okay, we have nothing to discuss on basketball because none of us know anything.
Do we have a form ready for Groveland Day for that? Don't we usually put
We
a
usually do put it out,
sign up there?
yeah. I will check with Steve on an application.
I think Erin Clear is going to be running that this year.
Oh, good.
She's stepped up to start taking that over, so. Do you want me to reach out to
Yeah, I
her?
think Steve was gonna guide her through this, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, this was a sort of a transition
Yeah.
year. So hopefully we can solicit her for something down
Yes,
there.
because we're gonna have to have Steve do concussion training, that's a requirement now.
Yeah,
For,
for the
Yeah.
All
insurance.
sports,
All
all
sports,
sports.
really?
Yeah,
wow,
to get the insurance, you need to do concussion training.
really?
Did you guys have to do that?
Yeah, we're all, our whole league's
That was
USA.
the, yeah, the
The
first
USA
thing you guys
football,
had to
yeah, it's like you have to go, it's concussion, heat,
do.
there's
Yeah.
like 3-tiered thing and it's like,
Blisters on the fingers.
yeah,
training.
it's a lot of the guys, yeah, you're online for a while, trust me, it's like,
Really?
you get, it's not like you can,
What
you
is
get
it?
quizzed
Yeah.
and if you don't pass, then you
Did you
gotta go
guys hear
back.
that story out of Framingham?
Yes,
Yeah, wow.
Crazy.
And Boxford just put in a whole big field of artificial
Did they
turf,
really?
yeah.
That's crazy.
To
So
the
what
tune
were
of
they saying? Was
$2.5
it
million.
just the heat
Yeah.
that, because they were,
Doesn't absorb the.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is though, you know, you get so many different companies making
Yeah.
those fields too, and you wonder if everyone's using the same
If it was the chemicals rather
stuff.
than the heat.
Yeah, that's what I
Jeez.
wonder, you know,
Mm.
I'm
That's
sure you'll
crazy.
probably, yeah, there could be more to it down the road.
Or
Mm.
the base is black and it's
Yeah.
more and so.
I mean, I know we just played over at Linfield, they have great facilities over there, but it's funny, like you come back and on your socks, you have like little black granules.
Yeah.
Because essentially, part of it is the, it's like finely ground up, like tire.
Like a rubber?
Rubber.
Yeah.
So, but it's real fine, but I'm like, what is this black stuff on my socks, you know, especially because you're there and you're, it's
Right.
not like you're playing on dirt, you're playing on field turf, but that's part of what's in there that,
They did that to simulate dirt, right? So that when you're
so there's, yeah, so,
on
so you
your-
don't
on
catch,
your
yeah,
feet,
so you're not,
yeah.
I mean, the stuff
Those
is,
injuries.
it's so much better than
Yeah.
the old turf fields that I remember playing on back in college that were like,
Hurt knees.
literally like concrete with a little bit of sand sprinkled on top.
I'm in a meeting, buddy.
Yeah, you would just
Yeah,
tear
I'll be
your
home
skin
soon, okay?
every time you went down. This stuff is like,
Alright,
almost
love
has a little cushion and
Oh, wow.
there is some softness to it, almost with the feel of like a grass field, so.
Yeah.
And a lot of the places, a lot of the KPN towns all have them at their high
Really?
schools now.
Yeah.
We're one of the last remainders, Pentucket.
It's not gonna
Wow.
happen.
Yeah, I know.
I know, it's all that money.
Linfield just put a whole new, it's like a sports complex. They've got like turf field after turf field
Oh,
after turf
geez.
field,
Wow.
you know, yeah.
Wow.
But the thing about it is, once you put, it's a big upfront cost, but
Yeah.
it's long-term maintenance. You think about it, you're not mowing grass, you're not, there's a lot of,
Fertilization.
there's a lot of long-term
Yeah.
savings down the road, but it's a pretty massive, honestly, initial investment.
What is its life expectancy, you know?
They seem to, they seem, it seems like it's 20, 30 years they talk about it, probably like a roof.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay.
Did I already hand you checks for Georgetown Bank?
Yes.
And- okay, all right, that was the first round, right?
Yep.
I didn't mark those off.
It was Georgetown
They were-
Tea Garden.
Yeah,
and-
they were calling me today to make sure that it was gonna get cashed. I said, we
Okay.
have a meeting tonight, and I'm sure that after that, Institution, Tea Garden, Haverhill Bank,
Yep.
Georgetown Bank. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yes, I try to put them in as a group so that we know where we're at.
Absolutely, yep.
So it doesn't get mixed in with basketball.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, on to the puns.
So there's really two elements, and so the first one is where we at with the project that was approved in October town meeting. Seems like this never-ending saga of what we got. So we went out to bid a second time for wells, we got one vendor back. And, so he had some comments on what the bid was on. So I listened to him, he had, it sounded like decent input, but to make the changes to it means we have to go back on the bid again. So it's going out to bid, it's supposed to be tomorrow that it actually gets posted.
At what point does that, that money expire? Are we still?
2
in-
years, yeah. Is it 3? It's 2 or 3,
Okay,
so we're not even at a year.
okay.
So we'll wait back for the well on that. We can't do anything with the irrigation until they know the output of the well, so we have to wait, because they don't even quote me on those until they know what the output is.
What's the turnaround from bid to actual working done, and if all goes well with that bid?
I asked for the time, at 30 days, I believe it is.
Okay, so it's not bad, it's not like we have to wait
No,
months.
no.
No,
Yeah.
well, I mean, the well is,
But it's gonna
usually
be,
most well companies can get something done fairly quickly.
so
It's just
fall
they,
is,
the
fall
company's
is
been
done.
out straight,
Yeah.
because,
Yeah,
you know,
because of
it's
the water,
well
the
dry.
drought.
Right.
Yeah.
They really have to talk to me. One guy told me, call me at 5:30 in the morning, so I
No,
mean,
they're busy.
yeah.
I'm sure.
So we're looking at the fall being,
We really would like to get the well in the fall, and, you know, talking to landscape companies, they said that if you get the grass in by the middle of October, you're okay. If not, you gotta wait till the spring.
Yeah.
It's a waste of
yeah.
us.
Yeah. So that could happen still, okay,
Could, yeah.
that's good. Are
So-
we in a position where we're gonna have to plant and then replant, like,
No, I want to avoid that. We want the funds to do that.
yeah,
There's no, and I can tell you, that field planting, nothing's gonna take, soils.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, we know we need.
I
No,
mean,
actually,
it's-
no, I did a
You're just,
landscape
you're like,
company-
to me, even like, I know the town, I saw them throw like fertilizer on it this spring, and I'm like, it's like throwing money away, yeah. All it did was make these evil weeds
Tomato
come
plants.
up. Yeah, yeah, that's what, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and, you know, to me, it's better off, don't throw any money at it until we can do it right.
Well, we had civil design, they do the original scoping, they then come back and they re-scoped what they call it as-is, so they looked at the field as-is, and, you know, I presented at the selectmen's meeting
Last week.
Yeah, and I gave them an update of where it is. So the fields, actually grading-wise, for the football field and the softball field we are gonna work on, are pretty close. The issue is the drainage ditches done not to spec. So it's too wide, so the approach on the, we're gonna spin the softball field around so that the backstop is back in the parking lot, not way out by the ditch. And they can't get the whole thing fit in right without compressing on the ditch, so they recommend that anyways the ditch get done right, because it's, I said, you know, true drawings, it wouldn't stand up to, you know, 100-year rainstorm. So that's the recommendation on that.
Well, it doesn't look like that nowadays.
No, I know, it's hard to imagine.
It's hard to imagine.
That
You-
hill,
you-
like caving in.
Yeah,
and
if you look
just
at that
getting
drainage
eaten
ditch
up.
right now, it's almost dry.
Right.
And that's another thing, the hill isn't right.
The hill is a 2-to-1 slope, and it was scoped as a 3-to-1 slope. So
Yeah.
there's 30
It's
extra
sliding
feet
now.
taken out of the slope than was originally designed, so it's a much steeper slope. So he said you can see the rivulets on it, you can. You know, we were looking at it together, the design guy, and he said, you know, you get really heavy rains, days and days of rain, just gonna wash it
Oh, yeah.
out. So the recommendation for one of the companies I met with, the landscaping, said, you know, we'd be looking at probably 4 inches of topsoil at the corner of the field, and then, you know, the irrigation put in and then seeded over on top of that. So we have to wait until the well's done to know what we're gonna get. So the field guy is gonna come back, he's supposed to give me at least a ballpark of what his recommendation is this week, so hopefully I'll get from one of the guys this week on that.
Now, is that as far as, when you say field guy, is that like, have we already contacted?
Oh,
different-
contact, yeah, we have, yeah.
Yeah. And is that something that went out, did that go out to bid at
Yeah,
one time?
It has to go up, but.
Yeah, it's gonna have to go out to bid
Yeah.
though, right?
Yeah.
The
The
problem-
trouble is, we don't know what money we have
Yeah.
till we have the well in.
Right. Because the first 2 bids on the well were much higher than what we were originally told the well would cost to put in on that. So that's our main issue, that just blows the budget right there alone. So we're waiting to hear back from that.
It would be really nice to know what we have, you know, the well is gonna cost, only because we can go back to community preservation for fall town meeting. I've already laid the groundwork that we may be there, because they're gonna make an exception for us if we have to go back.
If we go back for CPC, what was the difference between doing the well and doing the dredge from Merrimack?
Well, the original specs were about $35,000 to $40,000 more to pull out of the river. But
I
now,
wonder
since
if
it is in plan, we're
long-term,
about
yeah.
20,000 higher. But that was original specs, that was a ballpark number, they never came down and looked at it for me,
Yeah.
there's very few companies that do that work.
Yeah.
So I contacted them again just to see if they give me a tighter spec on it. I talked to the guy briefly, he said he's gonna look at what I sent to him, what he sent me back in October, to have it from him, so I can chase him down again to see where that's at.
It would seem to me to be a better sell because of anyone driving by the Pawtucket High School, it's like Emerald Isle now
Right.
compared to everything else. And so that's proof that that works. And an extra $20,000
Yeah.
in CPC money, I think would sort of make sense for the whole project. So I wonder if we should maybe, I don't know, is that worth a,
But yeah, I'll keep pushing them to see if I can get them to come take a look, because I'd like to see if they'll actually give me a direct quote rather
Yeah.
than an estimated quote.
is that the same company that they used or?
Different company, because it's through the same vendor that supplies the equipment, but the company that did the high school fields does like massive job. They come in and do the whole pines for us, but they don't do like just this thing, so they told me, they gave me the company name to go contact directly
Okay,
to just do that work.
gotcha.
So
Okay.
that's where we get that number from.
Right. So in terms of those, so we have a bid for the well, we have a field
Bids going
bid.
So one of
The
the
field includes like all the sprinkler, all that stuff.
sprinkler.
Right, we don't have any
The
bids on
4
that,
inches.
just a quote we work from.
Right.
Mhm.
And
So we get quotes from more than, I mean, we have a few people?
We'll have to for landscaping, yeah. I've talked to, we've had 2 companies we've talked to now.
And then what else is left?
then it would, well, then it's anyway, but that's of course, I don't know. I think he's probably not, but we'll see. We're gonna ask
Courts,
what's that?
tennis courts.
You know where the pavilion is right now?
Yeah.
That gravelly area is
Oh, yeah,
beside
yeah,
it?
yeah.
That's what was designed
That
for
was
tennis.
supposed to be tennis
Yeah.
courts.
I meant to bring the big drawing tonight, I walked out, I was loaded. I do have a to scale drawing.
Oh, that's over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're drawing, yes.
Right there.
I can see.
With Pam.
It's Pam. So the well company that we've talked to already did recommend that we move the well position from where it is now. Good points. He said, if the tennis courts go in and if something ever happens to the well in the position where it is right now, it'd be really need to get a crane in to work on it because it's between the playground,
Get to it.
you would be able to get to it. So what Denise sent out that I looked at this morning was we talked about putting it behind the playground so that they can get it from to your driveway.
The driveway there?
The side parking lot, yeah. So it's kind of somewhere behind there. It doesn't really matter where as long as there's future access to it.
Okay.
So we now have to scale drawings again that are as is. So now we're waiting on the well, and then from there we'll be able to get quotes on the landscaping and irrigation. So
Any news on the bathroom? Is that on budget?
I don't. So here's what I did. I sent Denise a message in all fairness today, and I asked her two things. I said, can you please give me an update on where we're at with the budget that was approved in October? To my recollection, we've only spent $3,000 for the civil design to come back in and redo the as-is plan. But I just want to validate with her that that's true. And then the other thing was I asked her for what's left remaining of the operating budget. The only notes I had was from October of last year where there was a figure thrown out of 400 and some odd thousand. But I know in a couple of the selectmen's meeting a number of 200,000 was thrown out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked her for, could we get an up-to-date number to our other point of the discussion point tonight, just to kind of have a number so we knew what was in that
Yeah.
budget today. Because it seems like, I know that's, my guess is being used to help fund the work being done on the bathrooms, but I don't know how much of that's left.
Yeah, I thought that was like earmarked already, and so what was left over was that 200 chunk that we were looking at.
That's what.
And that's was
So
my
I'm curious to
understanding
see
too.
if that gets dipped into,
Right.
for sure, yeah.
So
Well,
we'll
let us
find
know.
out. I will.
Thank
We'll let
you.
her know.
Do we know if the other well is working yet?
It's not.
It's not.
They supposedly contacted Rollins to come in and do it. We talked to them, but then they haven't heard back from them, so I think that's why the other two fits up.
And I have not talked to him.
Okay.
I still will talk to him.
Okay, thank you, yeah. If I get a good number, I'll let you know what that is, I'll ask them for a good number, so I can give that to you. Okay. That's why I actually went back to the other company for pulling out of the river, because my thinking was do everything, right? Since we got a well that's not working, we got a new well that has to be done.
Yeah.
What the guy explained to me was, he said, there's a lot of talk of the sand in that first well. He said, it's not really sand. He said, it happens with the wells is, if you draw too much out of the veins at once, so let's say a well pumps 100 gallons a minute, and you pull 100 gallons a minute out of it, he says, you're sucking all the veins dry, so it creates a cavity. And what happens is, there's a layer of, he said it's like a purple rock, you can see it up at Plum Island. He said it's in the area a lot, but it's down the Pines Shore. And he said what happens is it's like a slate, and it falls into the hole, and it crumbles as it does. So it makes it appear that it clogs it in sand. He says that's because you create a cavity, there's no water there, so this falls down. So he said you never want to pump more than 66% of your volume capacity out of a well, so you'll shorten the life of it. So I thought it was interesting. So I got my well education.
Bishop well known.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Knows more than the airplane.
That's right.
Same thing happened at home wells?
That's what I was thinking, yeah, I didn't ask that, but my guess is probably true.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yes, and probably
Well,
it's more
funny.
likely at your house than us, because of your access, you're closest to the river.
Right.
Well, they had to fight that forest fire right on Bear Hill, like same block as my house, and we
Oh, wow.
noticed like that week or so, couldn't take more than a couple showers a day, or
Really, huh?
laundry, and
Wow.
it was noticeable. Sure.
Yeah, I think just because, it's really been drought conditions here, though, more than ever in this area. So, I've got a deep well where we are, I'm kind of up a hill and all that. We had times where it was like, okay, they were doing laundry for a couple days, because all of a sudden it was like groundwater, and I'm on a well, and it was just, it had gotten, basically it needed to kind of refill itself, and then, you
Yeah.
know, we actually went away for the weekend to kind of let it, and came back and everything was fine, but,
Yeah.
and I think it's,
It's crazy.
And I'm not tapping mine much either, unless the
Yeah.
outside water area.
no,
Yeah, no.
I let the lawn go, I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, you know, I'd
Easy.
I'd rather have a, be able to take a
That's
shower.
always
Exactly
nice.
right, yeah. Yeah,
It's
drink
kind of
water.
nice not having to mow.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
save on that.
Okay,
So the other,
the other,
so, we'll present it and we can discuss what we're gonna do with it. So I don't know if you guys saw the selectmen's meeting where they asked if we were interested in taking over the operations of the Pine from the perspective of self-funding. So that's why I asked the second question of Denise on what's the budget remaining right now of that. So if you're gonna start with a lump of money that's could potentially get you a couple of years, then it allows the funding source to happen potentially.
Yeah.
If there's not, then how do you make it work so that you get your fields taken care of, you get your, I guess there had to be stipulations, though we didn't really clarify exactly the selectmen on, does that mean road management, does that
Yeah.
mean the fields, does it mean just mowing, fertilization, and what happens if the wells go dry if there's a well, or a well problem? What happens if the cement shed down there has issues? What do you do with playground roof that's dying on the
Lighting,
pavilion?
I got a
Does
feeling
playground
it's
field-
all of us there, all of it, they're expecting
Expecting.
to be taken care of.
So they wanted to know if that was something we were interested in entertaining. So, one thought is that's a decision that should be made by more than just a basic quorum that we've got tonight. I think that should require a majority vote of the board, because that's not something we want to take lightly.
No, it's a
No.
pretty big
It's a
undertaking.
hefty chunk of money.
And a massive undertaking to make that work, you know.
Yeah, from a volunteer standpoint.
Right,
But I think-
especially where it's, the area is not finished yet.
Yeah. Not only
You know.
that, but, you know, what are the parameters of it? What,
Yeah.
how far, we need something sort
Pretty
of in writing.
specific,
Pretty
yeah,
specific.
real
I can send a note to
Because
the selectmen's
Because
office
if
and
it's,
ask for that.
if it's gonna tap into like a capital planning type of thing, where you have to plan for 5-10 years in the future for turning over wells and this and that, then.
Right, and I think we're probably talking hiring somebody to mow the fields, you know, I think that all that is gonna be incorporated into this.
Right. Does it include everything? Does it include
Right.
the equipment for the playgrounds, getting a bit aged,
Right,
basketball courts looking a little tired?
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
what do you
and
do with all that stuff?
none
It'd
of
have to be
those
something where
things,
we'd have a specific budget at X amount of dollars, and then we'd have to look at it long term if it's even something we could do
Right.
feasible.
and it's not something we can use CPC money for.
Yeah.
Routine maintenance is not anything that we can touch community preservation for.
Right. So, my recommendation, if we vote on that tonight, my recommendation is we wait until we have a majority to discuss that.
Yeah, I agree.
I would agree with that. Yeah, there's nothing to consider yet.
Yeah.
We don't have
We're
anything in
not
front of
enough
us.
We need a lot more specifics before I think you can even get into the.
I will send a note to the selectmen's office and ask for this. So when we get to our next meeting, hopefully they'll get a response back.
Do we want to formulate some questions in the meantime that
Yeah, I
start
mean,
to frame this around?
sure,
or?
let's do it now. What does it include, right? So that's more from a perspective of just maintenance on fields, or is it more than that, correct?
Yeah, correct. Upkeep, replacement,
Yeah.
and are we
And maybe
actually
the other question is, you know, do we assume this responsibility when the Pines is finished?
Mhm.
You know, are we generating funds to finish it?
Right, time, yeah.
Yeah.
Will it be something that, you know, similar to what Pam's role is right now in terms of the finances? Is it gonna run through us, or is it gonna go through Denise once
It-
we need a check for something?
It has
you
to
know,
be a separate account, they did
They did mention that.
that we would have exclusive control over? For just the
Just
functions
fines.
that we've outlined.
And I think one big stickler point is we don't know what it actually costs.
Right, we don't currently know.
We do not know,
Mm-hmm.
because there's never really been any real maintenance
Right.
done down there other than by user groups.
For volunteers.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. You guys probably do now on the fields, are you getting lights down there?
We end up just bringing in temporary lighting
Yeah.
later, as the season gets later. I mean, we just kind of moved over there halfway through last fall.
Yeah.
We were at Strawberry Fields for years before that, which, at Strawberry Fields, we did everything. We mowed the jungle ourselves,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and, yeah, we did everything. We brought lights, we brought the bathroom, we basically brought
So-
everything. We did everything on our own over at Strawberry Fields.
So let's talk about how that will affect other groups that have people from all sorts of towns too, because it wouldn't just be for Groveland residents that you're,
No, they talked about that, they brought that up as well.
you know, so,
Because
Our-
we're Pentucket Youth Football, and we actually encompass not just Pentucket, but even neighboring towns,
Yeah.
some of the players and cheerleaders, parents, volunteers.
And the cross is regional too, isn't it?
Mhm. I think that's the, if I were to make a point right now, that would be the one area where I'd say we're gonna lose out on that volunteerism aspect of it, which is a huge chunk of
Absolutely, it is.
what goes on down there financially. We save so much money by what other people do. So once you take this over and impose a fee, then you don't have those same people doing those same free activities. So that would be a point to consider.
All good points. Okay. I'll put together an email so that I'll copy everybody on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe get their questions too.
Yeah.
Is the bathroom, how are they running the water and sewer with that? Is that hooked up to town sewer?
I don't know, I know water's down there because there's a manhole cover outside of it, so everybody.
So is that town water?
I believe it is on well water, probably well water, right? Actually,
I
I don't know.
don't know.
I know there's water down there, but I don't know where it's from. It's not from the wells down there, we know that.
Well, those can be the bills that we're paying too, you know? If it's town water and sewer,
Right, then we've got that bill.
And we're not using, we're bringing our own water. We're bringing jugs of water right down there now, because there's really nothing set up.
yeah.
Like,
Right.
No.
So
Yeah.
especially with it being hot, we've basically, every week, we got a different head coach and his team, they're responsible for bringing jugs of water. We set up a table and a station
yeah,
and bring ice and water down there right now, because obviously there's nothing
Yeah.
accessible.
we can save. Does it include the boat ramp?
Yeah, my guess is not, but it's.
My guess would be no, because they already have their own revolving fund. I bet we can't touch that money.
Dog park.
Well,
Big bucks to use the dog park.
yeah,
Big
really,
bucks.
yep.
Do we have to clean the dog park?
Yeah.
Do we have to clean the bathrooms?
Bathroom, yeah.
Yeah.
Both bathrooms, yeah. And if that's the case,
Because now we're
liability
hiring,
wise,
now we're hiring somebody to clean bathrooms too.
yeah, and liability wise, are we responsible for carrying insurance and
No, that'd be out of the
whatnot?
town, I would think.
I would assume it's
Yeah.
the town.
That'd be out of the town. Because we fall under the town, so.
Yeah.
Lot to think about.
It
Yeah,
is a lot to
absolutely.
think about, and I don't even know where to go, you know, somebody that's doing this that we could say, you know,
Yeah.
what does it cost you to run your operation?
Yeah.
Because we don't really have any figures. I mean, years ago, the mowing came out of Rex account,
Mhm.
but that money's gone.
Yeah, for many years, you know, we mowed,
Yeah.
we graded,
Yeah.
and Dan's like a maniac down there now doing it.
I mean, I've definitely have a lot of connections through some of the coaches and stuff like that who run landscaping type businesses that I could probably get an idea, at least of quotes of stuff like that, which give us some ballpark figures, but that's really just maintenance, right?
Right. And then, I mean, is the shed gonna become a snack shack that we have to hire somebody to run because of so many different user groups? You can't say like baseball has their snack shack, soccer has theirs.
Right,
Yeah.
Ours would have to be run by somebody.
Mhm.
obligations.
Yes. And do they plan on making that snack shack? Because initially in the plans, the first when Chris discussed this, the bathrooms were gonna be right there by the snack shack.
Yeah. Alright, and do we have a scheduled meeting with them?
I think we have to schedule another meeting for us first so that we,
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
then we can schedule it.
then we can schedule with them.
Okay.
So that, I don't know, wanna look at the second Tuesday in
Yeah.
September?
That'll
Which
be right
would
after
be-
Groveland Day, yeah. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, longer, I think.
Maybe even earlier.
Next
No,
week
it'd be
is the
before
first.
it, it'd be before it, it would be the,
Coming up quickly,
13th?
couple weeks,
Yeah, maybe even sooner.
2 weeks.
Yeah, which might not be bad, the 13th, it would be before Groveland Day so that we can make sure everybody else is coming to Groveland Day.
That's true.
Uh, 13th.
Okay.
Because I do know that some members are gung ho into taking this on, and I think we need to
Yeah, we need to look at
hear
it,
from everybody.
so it's an educated
Yes.
decision. Yep.
Yeah, I wonder how much we'll have back from them in terms of those questions though, because I would think that those will,
Yeah, we may
Form
have,
the
we may have to put our
discussion.
meeting at a different date only because of that. 'Cause we-
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know,
the selectmen would meet again.
you're giving yourself 2 weeks to get a lot of answers there, right?
Right. They would meet again.
And you got a
Monday.
long weekend
No,
over there
it's
too.
Oh, do they have a meeting Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
They are
Tuesday,
meeting Tuesday, Charlie, okay?
the 6th?
6th. But that'd probably be the first time they discuss it, I don't know if they'll finalize, first
Right.
13th.
Right. Okay.
So I guess
Well, let's
depending
wait
on
and
that-
see what we get from them and then
Yeah.
we'll set a meeting date.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we got any old business?
I don't think so.
We got any new business?
I have one thing I need to
Okay.
raise. So I got a phone call from Friends of the Council of Aging, upset with the choice of date for Groveland Days. They said that it was right on top of the date they were planning and have used for the last 3 years for the townwide annual fundraiser. The only fundraiser
Yeah,
that they have.
For the
Yeah,
yard
it's-
sale.
Yard sale, correct. So, you know, I apologize, and certainly I said there was no intent that we schedule it at the same time. But, so they asked if next year we'd make sure we stayed away from the 16th of September.
We're late, I feel like we're a little bit late
We're a
this
week
year.
late because of night vendors, we could not get them, so
Yeah.
that,
I told them
yes,
there was a reason why we moved it, I just didn't recall. So
we
I- it
couldn't
was-
get beer and wine.
That's what it was.
September, what
It was the
it?
night activity.
16th. Yeah, they asked me to stay
Yeah.
away from that 16th. They've already scheduled it. So they said that they are unable to run it this year because they couldn't run it on Sunday for some other reason, and they couldn't run it.
I heard it was
weekend.
rescheduled, I saw something.
It
No,
did
it's-
say, it was rescheduled in their newsletter.
I was told that they canceled it, but.
What
But-
day is it gonna be on now?
They're not
They're
having
gonna
it,
have
Charlie.
They're saying.
They're not having the town
That's
meeting?
what they
Yeah,
say.
that's what it's saying,
But so the 16th may be our date next year,
yeah.
if we have the same issue, because it's been vendors at night that we've had trouble with.
So we'll have to talk to them
Yeah.
once we know that, and figure out how do we work this out.
And good faith, just reach out ahead of time. maybe.
Yeah, exactly, right, yeah. That's what I said, there was certainly no intent
And
to
there
this
wasn't,
happen.
yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't even on the radar, I mean, we're
Exactly
trying to
right.
avoid church yard sales, we're trying to
Yeah.
avoid, you know,
Yeah.
That's what I
apple
said.
harvest road race, we're trying to avoid, you know, all this other stuff, so
Yeah.
there's never a weekend where there's not
Right.
something.
I wish they were doing it anyways, because it may actually
I think it would
get them more people.
work, people are out and about and you're driving down the road to go home
Yeah.
and, oh, there's a yard sale,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, but
necessarily be a negative thing. but-
Right.
Well, they could always have a huge section down at the Pines where it's
There you
a
go.
free-for-all, rent a
I was
table.
thinking about that when she was mentioning that, yeah.
And they could go down in the other area.
We'll give them a whole row. They can get 8 tables for free.
Except that what it is you go from house to house. It's not
Oh,
like
yeah.
a flea market. It's, there's signs all over town as you drive
Yeah.
to the people's house.
Yeah,
I think they pay $25 to list with
They put
the
it-
council
put a
on
map
aging.
out
They
and
put a
then-
map
Yeah.
out.
But
So we
maybe
do
it's-
apologize
Maybe
to
it's
them,
an
but
olive branch and
It was
say,
unintentional.
in lieu of, if you have people that are really interested and they wanna, come down and have a table.
Yeah,
You guys-
maybe. You know, if you
Yeah,
have people
bring
that
it
sign
up.
We're
up,
happy
that-
to have them.
I
Yeah.
told her I'd call them back anyways after our meeting, so I'm happy to bring
Yeah.
that up there.
yeah,
Yeah, see if they're,
you know, if they have people already signed up and they wanna do that.
Yeah, okay.
next thing you know, we have like 40 tables.
Just
Oh.
turns into a giant, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I guess we will be using the old space.
Yeah, I think we're moving to the old space.
Yeah, too. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it
I
is.
thought that we all do. That was it for me for new business.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. Well, I'll make the motion.
Okay,
the motion.
you're making it,
There you
honey.
Second the motion.
All in favor? Good night. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.